Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to today's 10-minute portrait live stream. We're focusing on the profile again today. It's wrapping up the profile month. I've been sharing daily profile references and we've done a couple of live streams and drawing sessions together focusing on the profile. And another exciting thing I want to tell you is the last day of the early bird registration for my new course. Thank you so much to those of you who've already signed up. It's amazing. I'm really looking forward to spending October exploring the facial features and drawing together with you. It's going to be really cool. So if you would like to get in on the early bird offer, then do it today because it's about to end. After that, it's still going to be good. If you're watching the replay of this recording, you can still sign up and it's still going to be great. The link is in the description below. Let's not wait too long before we get to drawing. I'm a bit tired. We're just going to work on 4 references today, and they're 4 really awesome references. So we'll just get right into it. And if you've never been here before, or if you have been here before, say hello in the chat. I have Zoom open. We will be sketching 10-minute profiles, and I'll put up this amazing reference. You draw along. I would love to see your work. Please tag me or hashtag. I'm at Dylan_Sara on Instagram. Usually that's here as well, but now it's not. But yeah, let's sketch together. It's gonna be super cool. I see Adam is here, Jesco, Martina, Herman, Gabriella. We sketched Herman in the daily references as well, and Astrid. We also sketched Linda, Ike, Sandra, Luca, Corinna, Sabra. It's so nice to have you all here. Let's get into sketching. And I want to show you some other sketches, because as well as this course that I've been working on, I also did my monthly Patreon tutorial this week. And this is one of the drawings that we did in it. And if you'd like to check that out, the link is also in the description. This is very hard to see, but this was the initial kind of breakdown of like looking at the profile, and then a couple of calligraphy pen pieces as well, which were super cool to work on. And I just wanted to show you those. If you're interested in checking out my Patreon, where I share monthly tutorials, check it out. Let's begin with Ioanoe. On Instagram, who's also from the museum app. This is going to be a 10-minute portrait sketch. Oh, by the way, I'm also doing a giveaway because I like giving things away. If you would like to win one of the sketches that I'm about to do, I will send it to you anywhere in the world, and you just type in hashtag I want to win in the comments. And at the end of this, I will look through and see who has said that they want to win, and one of you will. So that is another thing to add some excitement to the live stream if sketching to a time limit was not exciting enough. And yeah, I have my Zoom room open. If you know the way, you can find it just by scrolling down in the description. You can come hang out with us in Zoom. Adam wants to win, and so far you have a 100% chance of winning. And yeah, feel free to ask questions as well. Herman says, hey Dylan, are you going to be doing the Kanyo Sketch It October thing? I will be doing that. So I'm going to redo all of the work that I put into my facial features course, and I'm going to put it into my Kanyo Sketch It sketchbook, and I'm going to be doing daily references as well and sharing references all through October. So if you want to join my Discord server, I'll be sharing references. Adam, your chances have just been reduced. Other people want to win too, but let's do it. All right. If you're watching this and you hear me talking to myself, I'm actually talking to some friends in the Zoom room, and you're welcome to join. Let's sketch. Maybe you're already sketching. Maybe you've taken advantage of this little bit of time just talking, and you're already sketching, but I'm about to get to it now. Okay, 10 minutes. Starting now. Has anyone here, never sketched with a time limit? That would be interesting to know. I started a regular timed portrait sketch practice almost 6 years ago. Every Tuesday, I meet up in Zoom with friends for a couple hours. And actually, I started it in the physical world, in a cultural center in Göttingen called the Musa. and it was really cool. I was teaching in person course, and after the course was finished, we would just hang out, and people who didn't come to the course could also come, and we would just hang out and draw each other. And we would do that for 2 hours every Tuesday. And then in March, when a lockdown happened, I'm just like, all right, next week Zoom. And the first time there were 4 of us in the Zoom room, and it was great. And then I just kept doing it every week, and it expanded and grew. And then once lockdown ended, there were like less people coming, but it has stayed consistent. Less is still like the biggest was 47. It was like a huge thing. I had a dear friend, Janelle Del Cid. She came and she posed the major arcana from the tarot for us. And that was the biggest sketch session on Zoom that I ever hosted. And it was so cool. Janelle's amazing. And the people were amazing. And now it's like every week we just hang out and we sketch together. And that has been like the most, like I basically created for myself and for others a context to practice regularly, and kept showing up for it. And that has been amazing for me, socially, just also in terms of my practice of drawing. So no one here has to like do anything in any particular way. It's just this is also an opportunity to practice, to learn by doing, and to be together. But yeah, I have almost 6 years of timed portrait sketching under my belt at the moment. And it's been such a great way to learn. And each time, like sometimes I'll have a different focus, different things to think about, a different medium that I might try to use, or the emphasis on a particular way of working, like the reduced line, or working with shadow shapes. Like there's an opportunity every time to go into a practice like this to be like, what is it that I want to try and figure out, play with today? And the great thing about it is it's a brief space of time, and at the end of it you've seen and drawn a bunch of different things. So I'm really happy to be able to share this space and practice with all of you. I also hosted a live portrait profile sketching session last night for Let's Face It. And it's nice to have some of you who were there here as well. How's everyone doing? What's the last thing you did a drawing of? You can let me know in the chat. Last thing, or the person. Perhaps you know the person intimately. Maybe it was a thing. Who knows? I have a blending stump here. I'm working with polychromos pencils, by the way, on Nostalgie paper. Faber-Castell polychromos. So Herman asked about the Canyo Sketcher Challenge. Does anyone else know about it? Or I know there are often in October, there are a lot of different challenges. Is there any particular challenge that anyone's looking forward to, going to be participating or trying? So the 100 heads, cool. Yeah, the first time yeah, 100 heads, 100 cats. It could be, 100 cat heads. Yeah, that sounds cool. 100 heads, 100 hands. Yeah, I looked that up because I've heard a lot of people. I've witnessed people going through this 100 heads challenge, and I don't know if it was this one particular. I can't remember their name. A YouTuber. I found someone who had this 100 head and 100 hands challenge, and the first time I ever heard about that, I thought that sounds daunting, but now I've just kind of like made it a habit of doing a head a day anyway. But to do it in a month, that's pretty ambitious. But yeah, I saw this. Okay, 10 days. 100 heads in 10 days. Wow, cool. Oh, that makes it exciting. Um, yeah, 100 heads in 10 days. Cool. Yeah, and but then I found this YouTuber who maybe came up with the idea, and they were working from pretty small images and just like a thumbnail study of each head, and I was like, oh, that's a super good way of making it achievable. Because if it was like I don't know, if it was this size and you're doing 100 of them, also achievable. But yeah, just seeing the way that he worked, it seemed like, oh yeah, that's a really effective way to get a lot of head studies done. That sounds like a super good challenge. Made by Reb, Art Hang Party, Toba. Is that a thing? Art Hang Party Toba? Part of my course, every Sunday we're going to have an art hang. So we'll be discussing what we've gone through in the week. So if any of you have any questions about my course, please ask, because there have been questions, and it's been pointed out that some of my communication has not made total sense to some people, and that's fine. I'm happy to clarify things. But yeah, starting on the 6th of October, I'll be releasing a module a week for 5 weeks. And the first 4 are focusing on eyes, nose, mouth, and ears. And the final one is going to be just practicing full portraits. But each of the weeks will also have a full portrait to practice in it. And we'll be piecing together the different features, understanding them with anatomy studies, and quick sketch practice, and full portraits. So yeah, each Monday a module will be released, and then on the Sunday, so everyone will have a week's time to work on it. And it's about an hour and a half or an hour and 40 minutes, each of those modules, which I think spread over the week, 3 different videos. It could very well be achievable. And you could put it in your Canyon sketchbook. Yeah, and then we'll get together on Sunday and we'll talk about any challenges, any questions that come up. And it's just going to be a really nice month of art hangs together with the course crowd. So that's going to be really cool. So the question just there, is it all dry media? It's going to be, I use polychromos pencils and a calligraphy pen. So this is kind of wet, but it's not super wet. It's not watercolor. And I already have an ink and watercolor course kind of in mind that I'm really looking forward to making. And I think of this understanding that the facial features course is like developing a foundational understanding that we can then transfer to any media. And the drawing could be like the underdrawing for painting, or just like looking at things and understanding things that we're drawing and painting. And that's often for me, the drawing, well, initially it started, I thought the drawing is like something that is underneath a painting. And over the past years, I've just spent nearly all the time drawing, but I do also love watercolor, and maybe one day I'll get back to oil. We'll see. And those of you who are in the YouTube chat who are signed up to the course, you could raise your hand and say that you're joining, or just put like a raise hand emoji. I recognize a bunch of your names, and it'd be cool for everyone who's doing it to know each other. I'm really looking forward to the exchange. There's a community forum, which is a really cool feature that I'm looking forward to, where we'll be able to hang out and talk about everything, but specifically focused around what's happening in the course. All right, that was 10 minutes. I was kind of surprised myself by how fast I got the initial lines down, and that was our 10 minutes. First sketch. Luca signed up yesterday, yeah, so cool. Um, next pose is, this is, last year we did a live stream where we did like, I can't remember, 8 or 10 portraits by Dino Sarau, who is a really amazing street photographer. And today I was thinking, it'd be really cool to have a look at what profiles he has. And if you do not yet know Dino Sarau, have a look on Instagram. Super heartwarming encounters and really incredible street photography that Dino shares. And this is Tosei Shinabi. Melanie, hello, loving this. I love that you are here. Angelica, raised hand. Gabriela, raised hand. So cool that you're going to be in the course. Really looking forward to it. All right, next drawing. And by the way, if you've joined during the process of this, if you put in hashtag I want to win, you might win one of these 4 sketches I'll be doing today. All right. Everyone ready? How are my Zoom friends? Hi. All right. 10 minutes. I think drawing and talking at the same time is a learnable skill. But it just takes a very long time to learn. You got to practice a lot. Oh yeah. Yeah, Sara has been also been doing great regular live streaming on Wednesdays. Very cool. Yeah, so nice. The whole vibe at your streams and the work you're doing is it's great. To those, a really important thing I want to tell you that some people didn't get the message, but if you were supporting me on Patreon like a year ago, that was the time I actually recorded the tutorials for the facial features course, and I shared them with my Patreon supporters. So if you were with me back then, I sent you a message on Patreon, and I would love to have you in the course, but before you purchase it, you've got to read that message. Just so you know, because someone wrote to me today and I was like, wait, did you get the message that I sent you? If you're watching, check out the direct messages over on Patreon. There's really cool shapes in this reference. And I'll just mention it again. I'll mention it a few times because today is the last day of the early bird registration. If you're interested, check out the link in the description. I went to a family theatre production today of Alice in Wonderland. And it's at this pretty amazing place called the Waldbühne, which means the forest stage. And it's a stage in a forest which has this like sandstone wall and trees behind it. And it was a really cool and delightfully absurd production of Alice in Wonderland. Very fitting to the strangeness of it. I think Kira and I were definitely laughing more than our kids were. The Mad Hatter's Tea Party was so good, and the encounter with the caterpillar, just so much amazing stuff. The caterpillar was portrayed by 4 people wearing the same costume, and just one spoke, but the 3 behind would echo the front actor, and with every gesture, it would be like echoed um, behind, and it was so cool, so funny. How's for those of you who've been practicing profiles with me this month, how's it been for you? Depressing or challenging? um, yeah, I'm super curious because I know before I did it, I had been hearing a lot of people saying, "Oh, profiles are so hard," and yeah, yeah, that's great to hear. Yeah, 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 yeah. It would be nice to get back to the rest of the face. Yeah, it's like, oh wow, it's totally different on the other side. The so my Patreon tutorial for this month, which is now available, begins with like a the structured breakdown of like how I look at the face, and with an upright kind of profile that's like just facing the edge of the paper. You can really check in with the vertical line to start finding where that exterior edge is. Cool. Yeah, nice, nice. Yeah, and um, I see there's definitely inconsistencies here, but if you just get into it, and like it depends what you're going for in every drawing. It's like is I love getting the likeness, um, and I think I would say this like maybe has a likeness, although it's not spot on accurate. Um, but sometimes when it's just like a you know quick quick sketch, it's just it's nice just to follow the lines, and rather than being caught up in trying to have it be totally accurate, to just like play with the flow of how you're putting the line work down. um, Gail, just saw you were live, had my granddaughters here, hello. um, you're watching, yeah, that's so nice. Hello Martina, when you've had the chance to sketch, you've been loving the profiles, great to hear. AS wants to win. Hashtag I want to win. Oh, I I'm glad the live streaming's working. It's it's really a relief because I looked back to it and I remember having because I was like thinking about Dino Sarau's portraits, and so I looked at something today, which was from November last year, and saw that when I did the Dino portraits, I also the live stream didn't work out. So that's been over a year that I was kind of been struggling with the streaming. So I'm really happy that it's working out now. Gail, that's a good question. Am I drawing flat that your face is elongate when you're doing that? I'm not. I'm drawing on an upright surface, but I'm not right in front of it, because if I was, it would look like this. And I think sometimes I kind of like, yeah, I know when I'm drawing off to the side, there's definitely some distortion comes into play, but that's okay. Yeah, I have. I'd be interested to know, do any who else works upright? because my back and body has prompted me to do so. And I just wonder how people who spend a lot of time working, whether it's whatever you're doing, maybe you spend a lot of time at a desk for other reasons as well. And I built like a mini table that I can put on top of my table to raise the height, so I can like sit down. And I know there's also these like mechanical sitting desks that you can get, but mine's like a table on a table and an easel. Because if you do a lot of anything, it's important to do it in a way that's good for your body. So that you'll be able to keep doing it. And getting back to October challenges, the first one I knew of and first one I did was Inktober, which at the time was like I was right into my ink phase, and I spent like, I think it was like 5 years where I mostly used ink in different kind of variations, because ink can be working with a ball tip pen, calligraphy pen, dip pen, ink and brush. That was 10 minutes. Yeah, there's a lot of potential variation working with ink and the way you can use it. And Inktober was really great for that. And since then, there are like so many different things that I've seen, different tobas that people have created. All right. Boat toba. Okay, cool. This is another one by Dino Sarao of Dr. Brown, and just the light shapes and the shadow shapes, but it's so cool. Like having reference like this is just like the different transitions from having super dark and in the background, and then the illuminated face, and then shadow in this core shadow in the middle, and then lit from the back again. There's so many cool things going on in this image. So I thought this would be a really fun one to work from. And I think I'm really going to get in and focus. I'm not so, it's nice, a nice hat, but I'm not so much interested in that. I'm really interested in what's going on, like in the face, in this area. So we'll see how we go with that. Gail says, I sit to draw but have the paper up right now. It's been a great experience. Thank you for asking questions. Everyone, feel free to ask questions. Martina said, I thought in the beginning I would end up drawing everyone the same, but everyone has unique profile shapes and silhouettes. Yes, and it's super interesting to see the variations in the silhouettes. And that's like just in the different faces that I chose, the different references for the Patreon tutorial, like the jutting chin. Some faces are like really round. Sometimes you've got like really. There's so much variation, so much subtle variation. Some of it's really obvious just in profiles. So it is super interesting to focus on profiles, and I'm glad you've seen and recognized that as well, Martina. 10 minutes. Let's sketch. Astrid wants to win. # I want to win. For those of you who were here last week, the winner did end up choosing the double exposure drawing of Imola. I've not yet sent it, but I will. And yeah, that was such a cool reference. I think, I don't know, I think like maybe I've seen a lot of really cool drawings of like double, triple exposure kind of portraits and stuff, but I don't think I've ever drawn anything like it before. So that was really cool to work on that, and just to be like, oh, how am I going to, deal with that? But then just seeing, like, even when things seem overwhelming and complex, to just be like, okay, so if I just take a moment and look at it, and I notice, oh, one of the heads is like a bit soft and blurry compared to the other one. And noticing that, then I was able to really emphasize, like put more definition into the clearer of the two portraits. Herman, speaking of ink, I've been collecting oat galls. Cool. For a couple of days with the intention of making my own ink for the first time. I'm pretty sure you mentioned that you were really into ink making too. Yes, I was, and yes, I am. Oak galls, that's so exciting. When I have also been collecting them. When I first got into making ink, I couldn't find any, like just so few, and I knew, to me, they were like, I thought of them as like the holy grail of ink making. And I only found a few, and it's important to not take them from the tree. There's a little wasp that lays its egg on the oak, and then the tree kind of swells around the egg, which becomes the shelter for the little baby wasp worm thing to grow, the larva of the wasp. And then when the time is right, it like hatches out and becomes the wasp and leaves. And the ones I found, they were still inhabited. And because I had seen so few of them, I was like, oh, it's really important to let them do their thing. And this year, I just found so many of them. And I was walking with my kids, and they were just like, there are a few oak trees around where we live, and maybe it's not the same every year, I guess. Like, there are different years where there's, like, sometimes there's more fruit, and this year there's been a lot of fruit, and there was a lot of oak galls. So I have some. I have not used them, but I know how to use them. Collecting from the ground, that's perfect, because like once the wasps have hatched and they've done their thing, they like end up just falling to the ground. And what's so great about oak galls is because the plant has like protected itself and it's built this thing around this egg. There's a lot of tannin in there, and tannin is what you get the incredible pigment from, which also reacts really strongly to iron. So do you already have a recipe, Herman? Because I could send you some ink making recipes to get it really, really dark. If you add iron to it, then you'll be able to get it super nice and dark. And I did that just by collecting rusty things, nails and screws and any old rusty stuff I found, and I would put it in vinegar, and it would like oxidize, and then you end up with this rust solution, which you need to be careful with, not to get it on your metal things. I don't know about the variety as large as walnuts. Sounds good. Also, walnut husks are really good for ink making. That was also one of my first inks, was walnut husk ink, which is an incredible dark brown color, so nice. And this time of year is like the perfect time for collecting, walnuts and acorns, and it's so good. That's so cool that you've been collecting them, haven't? And that was so I mentioned that I was using ink for a long time, and then when I discovered ink making, and then I would cook up these batches of ink and have like a liter jar, and I get my big brush instead of my little dip pen, and I was just like, could be more free and courageous with my application of ink. It was such a cool discovery, and it was also just a wonderful way to kind of connect with the world around me and just kind of be amazed by the idea that we can just, gather these plant materials and make art supplies from them. So cool. Yeah, and I've thought for years, like I thought a fun variation on Inktober could be Make Inktober, where just like make as many different inks and make as much work with them as is possible in one's surroundings. I think that would be really cool. Yeah, I do know pokeweed, and that's like an incredible color that you get from that. Like for the longest time, I was like walnuts and acorns, and everything was like sepia, dark brown. Or I have made acorn ink, which has been almost black, but it was all very very like within that sepia kind of range. And then somehow I discovered this amazing book called Make Ink, and it just like, even on the cover, it's got all these vivid colors, and I was like, what? How can you? Like my eyes were opened to the array of colors you can get. Like it doesn't just all have to be variations of brown. Like the pokeweed, you can get this incredible like pink and purple, and then when you start playing around with modifiers to change the pH value, it also changes the color of the ink, and it's so much fun to play around with. Interesting. So, Herman, you just said you've got European and American walnuts in the park. I've read stuff about recipes with American walnuts, but I've never encountered them, and I don't know if they'd be very different. I hear that I think they're like harder, but I think you can prepare them pretty much the same way. And because we had this really great walnut tree in the place we used to live, I made walnut husk ink, walnut leaf ink. I collected the catkins, the pollinating parts after they had dropped to the ground and pollination was finished. Like made ink from those. I cooked up the bark and made walnut bark ink, and they're all pretty much the same. But it was just a super fun like phase of getting really acquainted with this plant and the way of being able to use the various parts of it to make ink. Also, walnut pens. If you want to make your own pens, walnut is you get walnut branches, twigs. They're really cool. Like this is elder. And elder has like this soft pith that you can kind of hollow out a bit. I don't know if you can kind of see that. It's kind of hollow. This is elder as well, but walnut is also like, it has this kind of almost like hollow, the pith, the center of the walnut branch has these segments in between, but it's also kind of hollow, so as you dip it, it will kind of hold a bit more ink, which is cool. That was 10 minutes with Dr. Brown. Yeah, so cool. So these are so cool. Before I use the parallel pen, which I love, because you can fill it with ink and you just keep drawing and drawing and drawing. But I was working with acorn and walnut ink. Like this is pretty big, but these are even bigger. So you can make really cool stuff just with the branches. It's really easy to get the pith out of these. You just need like a like you can see this one a bit better. So this is like the pith is super soft, and if you just get like a nail or something, you can just kind of push it in, and I don't know, be hollowed down to here a bit, I guess. And there are different things you can do to like make more of a reservoir. But yeah, these lend themselves to like the elder is just such a cool plant, and so elder, walnut, and bamboo kind of lend themselves to it because they're hollow, which is really cool. All right, we're about to do the final sketch for today. It feels kind of strange to only do 4. I've done live streams where we've done 10-minute portrait sketches back in the day, but I'm going to get to bed a bit earlier today and get some rest. And I love this. Our last reference for today is by an incredible photographer, Tanmay Saxena. We sketched from one of Tanmay's photos back in February maybe, and it was someone wearing a hat who was like holding a snake. And yeah, incredible photos. Dino Sarao, Tanmay Saxena. There are so many incredible photographers, street photographers, travel photographers. I really enjoy seeing their work and kind of traveling through the lens. And when I saw this one, you've just got to go through Instagram and have a look at the different posts and also read. It's like the combination of just beautiful imagery and poetry and video. So there's still photos, and then like you can see here the kid holding the marbles, and then there's this video of the marbles being dropped down the stairs. It's so nice, so cool. And because this is the last sketch, I'll just tell you, hashtag I want to win. If you want to win one of the sketches that I've done today, I'll send it wherever you are. And today is the last day for the early bird sign up to my course. So if you want to get in on that, do it. The link is in the description. Okay, 10 minutes. I wanted to show you this, like a lot of the image. I'm going to crop in much closer on the portrait because I really want to focus on the portrait with this one. So there is an even broader crop, but I'm going to get in closer. So I'll just move this in so you kind of see what I'm looking at as well. But this is the one I shared today to the daily references. If you would like to work from the entire the big image, then you can get them there. I also put these 4 references in a Dropbox folder, which is linked in the description of this video, if you want to grab them. Maya wants to win. Okay. 10 minutes. And then after this, I'll show you the drawings I've done, and I'll figure out who the winner is. Okay. And so you can keep drawing after the 10 minutes if you like. And in that time, I'll see who wins. Does anyone have any questions? Whether you're in Zoom or on YouTube, questions about anything. It does get easier with practice. It does. And there's something that I was saying last night, and also in the Patreon tutorial about profiles, that this idea of like when I break it down into an analytical, like how how do we look at the forehead compared to the nose? Okay, the nose is coming out a little bit further than the forehead. There are all these ways, like looking at that vertical axis to see if we had a vertical line, where is the forehead compared to the nose, to the top lip, to the bottom lip, to the chin. There are like these stages that we can kind of step through, and you can really slow down the process and really be attentive to see, okay, where is it exactly? Like you can slow right down, and with more time, just be aware of how things are in alignment with each other. And once you've done that kind of slow, careful practice, and then return to a really quick, loose practice, it won't instantly always be right, but you'll just kind of have a different understanding of the way things are, like how you can look at things, and the way different forms are relating to each other. And it'll be different. Every face you look at will be a bit different. But figuring out a way of looking, and kind of like this kind of thing of like, where's the nose? Where is the nose compared to the bottom of the nose compared to the forehead? Then we're going up, we're out a little bit here, and then we go back behind here a little bit. There are all these stages where you can check. And if you do that kind of carefully, then maybe you can take the time to realize, oh, this is not in the place where I kind of quickly, automatically thought it would be. And the more you practice that, and also taking time, slowing down to really, really look at things, and the more you then put it into a quick sketch practice, I think the more easier it becomes. But it's never going to draw itself. So I feel like it's a process of just refining your awareness of seeing how things are in alignment and interrelated. But yeah, it gets easier. But I'd never say it's like super easy. Still got to be attentive. And there are different parts of the drawing of any piece where it will like demand a different kind of focus. And there'll be, I think that's part of why like the portrait is so challenging and also so rewarding and so much fun to do, is because it's so complex, and you really need to focus to see how things are interconnected and stuff. And then if you move to the clothing, or maybe there's a tree or some clouds or something where you don't have to get the likeness right, and you can just kind of relax and play and have a looser kind of approach to it. But for the portrait, it really, there's a focus that it kind of requires to figure out how things are in relationship to each other. And that's why it's cool. So the challenge and having to get into that focus. But I think like what I was saying earlier about how I think drawing and talking is a learnable skill. But it takes, when certain things become automated, like looking at how, like I was talking about, how far is that compared to that, the more you practice and the more you look at that kind of thing, and they become like an internalized kind of process, then the internal resources that are required to focus, to really figure out how things are in relation to each other, that once it becomes a little bit, or maybe you'll have a reference that'll be like where everything, all of the information is just there, and it's so much easier to draw. And then you can kind of switch into a different mode of kind of drawing. Like if it demands a lot of focus because it's something you really need to be like hyper aware, otherwise things are going to look really like way wrong. It's nice to have a balance to not always have to be super focused. So draw some things which are easier sometimes. And it could be within one image. Bye bye, Brigitte. I will be definitely doing some more live streaming, maybe this week as well, leading up to the start of the course. I might do some brief 10-minute portrait streams, like of just single portraits. And in October, anyone who's doing a Fill Your Sketchbook challenge, I'll do a few streams then as well. So if you'd like to come and fill a few pages with me here, that will be fun. Herman is doing it. It's called Canyo Sketch It. Canyo is a super cool artist collective, reference sharing group, art chat. Some of it's very chaotic. Some of it's focused on sharing reference. And it's really cool. And a few years back, someone came up with the idea that there have been different challenges. And so from the Canyo group, the Canyo Sketch It challenge was born. And the idea was just to fill a sketchbook in a month. And no further specification. So there has been like some prompt sharing, which was really cool. Where there's just like a word and then you just kind of do whatever you want. That's kind of whatever you get from that word, whatever that inspires you to do anything kind of connected to that. And those kind of things are fun. And yeah, I think I've done it twice. And it's up to you. It could be like a 12-page sketchbook. But I did one which was like super thick a few years back. And I was just like, I did all of my my live sketch sessions. Like I would just fill pages and pages with those. And then I would do some pieces where I'd really spend more time and think more about the composition. But it's kind of like the idea of a sketchbook is like a playground. You can do anything, and it can be a kind of free and liberating experience not to think it's got to be like a finished work of art. And sometimes the things that will happen in a sketchbook will be like amazing and may like give some direction to something more complex. Or the sketchbook itself just maybe, that is the thing. And it doesn't have to be more than that, but it's kind of like anything goes in a sketchbook, which is what's really exciting about it. And it's cool. Like I think there's also an Instagram account for Canyo Sketch It, where in the past the work that people have been doing for the month in that challenge has been like reshared. And it's really it's so cool just seeing what everyone does, because it's so open. I've participated in, taught in, and done things like where it's like a face a month, and now I do it by offering reference photos, and they're like those things have been like, okay, so everyone's working on the same image and everyone handles it in a different way, which is really cool. And all right, that was 10 minutes, but I'm going to spend a little bit more time on this one. Bye-bye, Sandra. Yeah, and so that's cool, like when everyone's working from the same reference image and then you see all the different interpretations of the same image, like that's so cool. Yeah, that can happen. Yeah, there's just to finish that train of thought is that when it's just like the word. No, it's good. I'll address that in a moment. But if it's just a word, which like, I don't know, the word could be radio, totally open. And then you've got like a whole bunch of people responding to this word in different ways, coming up with like unimaginably diverse ideas for how they're interpreting that. It's really cool to see how people are doing those kind of things. But yeah, the thing of, so that was, sometimes we try to draw children and they end up looking like elderly people, and which was alluded to in the Zoom room just now. And there's, I've talked about this thing often, that when you, so here I did some little like shape finding, and I feel like this one I would really like to keep working on it, to build up the tonal variation. But there are certain things like the softness of an unblemished face can be like super challenging to draw. And if you, as you start adding lines, adding hatching, there are like so many opportunities to take a youthful face and make it look older. And I think like the thing of adding detail, which is like if you start hatching into it and then there's just more going on, or I even thought just that line there, it's always a question. And I kind of went gently with this one because I'm aware of this challenge. And if you start hatching and maybe putting in some lines, and then you're like, oh, now this person looks much older, it's possible to then go to other parts of the image and work them up even more so that those lines kind of are not as prominent. But it's an interesting thing when you take that next step. It can take it from something which is like a 10-minute drawing. It's like, okay, this is maybe going to take half an hour now to get it to a level where the value relationship is feels good again. Because sometimes you'll like, or we may do something in the drawing, and it's like, oh, now I've got to get things so that they're balanced again. I'm going to have to go heaps further with it. And that was interesting with this, because this one was so fast for me. And then it's like, okay, how am I going to use the rest of the time? What should I do? And if I had started putting more hatching in here, and it was a very bright tone in the face, but if I had hatched in more of that, then everything else would have to go even darker than I did here to kind of get it to a place where I feel like the value balance feels good. So I'm going to have a look at who said they want to win. You can keep drawing for a bit, and I'll put these around. It's like, these are my drawings. Thank you to everyone who's been sketching with me today. It's always thank you. My pleasure. I think the question of does it get easier? I do this a lot, and sometimes, like, because I streamed yesterday, or I did a live event yesterday as well, and I've been focusing on these profiles all month, that I feel like each time you pick up the pencil and draw another face, the phase of kind of settling in to what am I looking at, how am I drawing, because sometimes in my 2-hour sessions, like the last half hour, I'll feel like it's really working now, and it takes an hour and a half to get there. And just if you keep up a regular practice, then each time you come to start something, it's less time since the last time you did something, and you kind of still have some of it, if that makes sense. It's like, I feel like this. Yeah. And I think exactly that. If yesterday was kind of like, meh, and today it's like, oh yeah, this is a bit better. And if you're able to keep up a regular practice, then I feel like it really, the momentum that you then have can carry a lot. All right. So everyone can chat in the YouTube chat now. And I'm going to make a little spreadsheet of the people who said I want to win. And then I'll tell you if you won. So this is not the most exciting part of the live stream. So if you all chat a lot in the chat, just talk to each other, get to know each other. Then YouTube may think, oh wow, people are engaging with this, even though he's not saying anything, and that'll be good. And thank you so much. There's still 28 of you here. It's been a really cool stream, and thank you all for being here. And thank you to everyone. If you made it to the end of this stream, if you're still watching, put a drawing hand emoji in the chat, and then I'll be like, wow, they made it all the way to the end. All right, now I've got oh, Adam, cool. First in with the drawing hand emoji. All right, now I've got to focus. maybe. Nah. Interesting. The people, if you're in Zoom, and then you say you want to win, that you get better odds. Maybe. We'll see. I'm gonna do a giveaway. So once again, early bird sign up for the course is ending today. You can still sign up for it tomorrow, but if you want to save 20 euros, sign up today. And I'm going to do a giveaway this week as well in conjunction with the course. I'll post about that maybe tomorrow, the coming days. So keep an eye out on Instagram for that. Pretty good. Martina, come running to join Zoom now. I'll go over to random.org. The odds are pretty good today for anyone who participated. Drum roll. Hear a drum roll in your head. Confetti. Loud explosions, excitement. AS wins today's giveaway. So AS, if you're still here, get in touch with me. Maybe YouTube may be a good place. Not YouTube. There's no direct messaging on YouTube. Yeah, you're still here. Write to me on Instagram or send me an email and let me know. So now I'll take the reference down. Thank you to everyone who played along and entered the giveaway. And thank you to everyone who was just here and everyone who joined Zoom. Even if you didn't say anything, it was just, I appreciate having you with me in the room. What was that? Oh, cool. Oh, yeah. Nice. People are sharing their sketches over in Zoom. Super nice. So these are the ones. Yeah, super nice. Yeah, Adam, the ink ones, like that big block of shadow. Dr. Brown, really cool. Nice, Sherry. Nice. Yeah, cool. I'm glad you're loving the parallel pen as well. And for those sketching along on YouTube, I'd love to see your work as well. So if you're sharing on Instagram, tag me. I'll reshare to my stories. And these are my 4 sketches today. And AS, you can decide which one of these is your favorite, and it will be yours. Thank you to all of you for being here. Zoom, you can stay here for a minute. I'll say goodbye to YouTube. Thank you so much. I appreciate you too. And see you next Sunday. It's going to be lesson 0, which I will live stream as well for the course. And there'll be the live gathering, like Zoom today, is going to be within the course. So we'll be trying out the Kajabi group meeting, which will be fun. There's going to be live events in Kajabi, and the course platform is called Kajabi for my new course. yeah, and it's going to be really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing it. So many of you. AS, you can get the third reference. Wait a minute. That was this one. Yeah. You'd like Dr. Brown is yours. Totally. I'm glad you like it. So, did I say all the things? I think I did. Early bird enrollment ends today. If you'd like to join the course, please do. Cool. Yeah. So AS, get in touch with me on Instagram or email me dylan.illustration@gmail.com, and you can give me your address and I will send you Dr. Brown. Cool. Adam would have gone for the same one. Lesson null is coming up. Yeah, it's going to be so much fun. I can't wait to hang out and spend those weeks with you during the course, getting to know the phase better and getting to know each other better and our work as well. So thank you, YouTube. You're all awesome. See you here next week as well. Have a good one. And thank you, Zoom friends. Thank you for being here. It's been a pleasure. I'll get a bit bigger over here.